Welcome back, my fellow Cybertronians. This is MegaGinge on the Ginger Transformer podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about Transformers the movie. That's right, Transformers movie 1986. The one, the only, the best. I do not count all the Bayverse pish. I do not talk about anything else. It is the 86 movie. Just I'm not gonna lie. I like the Travis Knight, I think his name was stuff. I like Bumblebee because it gave us some a little bit of Generation One goodness. Can't remember who did Rise of the Beasts, but once again there was some G1 goodness in there. But like the first five films sucked balls. They did. They did. They're just the crap. So usually I'd be doing a episode review, but I've done season one. I've done season two. I can't really do an episode review of best and worst for a full length movie because there's no episodes, it's a movie. So without further ado, I'll get to my personal highlights and feelings of the movie. Also, once again, these are my own opinions. I don't expect anyone to agree with me. For example, one of the highlights of the movie for me is when Starscream finally got what was coming to him. My wife would disagree with that. Her favourite part of the movie was when Optimus Prime bought it. See, like I said, not everyone will agree. Not even my wife agrees with me. Then again, she has more a Decepticon fan than an Autobot fan. Me, I just take them as they come. But like I said, I'll go through my top few best moments of the movie uh, and top worst moments of the movie. Now, quick recap for anyone that doesn't know what Transformers movie is. How can you not know? It's the movie set between seasons 2 and 3 of Transformers, set in the year 2005, a good nearly 20 years after season 2 ended, chronologically. So obviously we have a shit ton of new characters, Hot Rod, Cup, Ultra Magnus, RC, Springer, to name a few. The Autobots now have a city on Earth, not just the Ark, which isn't seen in the movie. And the Decepticons have total control of Cybertron, which it kind of looked like they did anyway through most of season 1 and 2. Bar the search for Alpha Triumph, where you meet some female Autobots, and it's like, whoa, there is some resistance after all. But yeah, so basically the plot points of the movie are a massive transformer, planet-sized transformer Unicron shows up on the scene and starts eating. Kind of like Rise of the Beast, if I'm completely honest. But eventually he heads for Cybertron, unaware that there's a civil war going on, and those in the civil war unaware that there's a giant planet-eating transformer coming for him. Eventually, after many battles, the Autobots and Decepticons have no choice but to team up against the Chaos Bringer Unicron, who transforms into a massive robot and starts tearing the planet apart. Eventually, with Prime and Megatron by this point long gone, Galvatron and Hot Rod end up in a battle for survival inside Unicron's tummy. I assume it's a tummy because it rumbles and then you see them in the next scene, and Hot Rod is saved by grabbing the Matrix off of Galvatron. That's going to be one of the points that I'm going to make very shortly. He becomes Rodimus Prime, kicks Galvatron's ass quite literally out of Unicron, and then blows up Unicron with the power of the Matrix. The Autobots end up with control of Cybertron, and the Decepticons are on the run to the planet Char. We'll talk about that in the next one for season 3. That is a very brief rundown of like an hour and 20-minute movie, which didn't really do well in the cinemas. I mean, I would have went to see it myself, but I was two. Depending what point in the year was, I was one. But it became a cult classic on video, later on DVD and Blu-ray. I have it myself on DVD. Had it on video there. That's old, that's ancient technology. But yeah, so I'm going to bring up points of contention first off. Not the worst, not the best, just points of contention. One, what the hell is the Matrix and where did it come from? Apparently, Prime's had this in him the whole time, like through season 1 and 2. It goes back for millions of years. It's what gave him, it made him the Autobot leader, is holding the Matrix. I base this on the fact that he passes it to Ultra Magnus as he's dying, and says, "Yeah, you're in charge now because you have this bauble." Where'd it come from? Optimus Prime was very thoroughly scanned in the season 2 episode "A Prime Problem," when a clone of Optimus Prime controlled by Megatron turned up and started causing chaos in the Autobot ranks. Neither one had the Matrix. Is it specially shielded from these kind of scans? Because that could have saved a lot of bother, if we're completely honest. Um, it's never explained. Where has it been? Why is it here? And as of like basically the end of season 3, it's just a shell that Prime then uses in season 4 to reactivate Vector Sigma. But I think after that, there's no more Matrix. It's like, what was the point in it? There was no point. There was no point in bringing in a Matrix, you know? You could have just let Optimus Prime's last dying words be, "Ultra Magnus, you're in charge." Dead. I don't know how they would have defeated Unicron, but yeah, there was literally no point to it. Now, a lot of lore has tried to fix this in their own way, going all the way back to the original Generation 1 comics, straight up through into Dreamwave, and then into IDW, and into who owns the rights to it now. I have no idea owns the rights to it now. But they tried. They tried to rectify it. They tried to make the Matrix this big, important, all but symbol of hope and blah blah blah, and so many of these things. A life-giving essence. They can create more and more Transformers. Good for you. Still didn't really make any sense to just kind of right put right there in the middle of the movie for like literally no reason. Megatron wasn't even trying to destroy Prime to get to the Matrix in this continuity. He was just trying to kill him. I mean, a lot of the continuities, he wants the Matrix, so he's going to go through whatever Prime has it to get the Matrix. It's never mentioned before, not even hinted at. But that is a serious point of contention for me in the movie. It annoys me because it's just been thrown in, and you see it throughout season 3 up until it's eventually used again and pretty much depleted. But what kind of makes it kind of pointless? Point of contention number 2: where the hell was the Ark? Why were Decepticons not attacking the Ark? Where were the aerial bots? Omega Supreme, Defensor. We were also missing several Decepticon combiners, Bruticus, Menasor. Where were they? And to be fair, a comic was done. It was basically Transformers, a movie in comic form. It was not the What If comic with What If Hot Rod did what Prime told him and stayed away. No. It was a comic which actually was basically cover for cover the entire movie. It was like 4 miniature comics, like really thin ones, put together into a mini booklet. And it does show, it does try to fix that one, at least. It tries to fix it by showing that the Ark was under attack by Bruticus and Menasor. So it took all 3 to fight them off. Omega Supreme, Superior, and Defensor. No. There was no need to have all 3 of them guarding the Ark. Now, I don't know if I consider that canon, if I'm completely honest. I would rather just say they were on, I don't know, they were on hiatus. Earth's a big planet. There's a whole galaxy. They may have been off fighting somewhere else, A lot of the fighting, I was expecting a lot more combiner action the first time I saw it, considering the fact they went to all the trouble they gave the Stunticons, the aerial bots, and the Combaticons, at the very least, a good bit of backstory, Where the Protectopods just seemed to appear from nowhere. So not as bad, but the rest, and Mega Supreme as well, had quite a bit of backstory, but they were all just conspicuously missing from the movie itself. Maybe they just couldn't get the voice actors to do them. I don't know. They're basically focusing on a new cast anyway. Point of contention number 3, funnily enough, there was so much new cast. Basically, Hasbro was just trying to push new toys at this point. They weren't really giving that much of a toss about the old ones. So you didn't really get a lot of older characters. At the start with the shuttle base scene, you get Prime, Ironhide, Prowl, Brawn, the Cliff Jumper, Jazz, and all that. And on the Decepticon side of it, you have Laserbeak, Soundwave, Shockwave, Megatron. And you see quite a lot of the older Decepticons from season 1 and 2 were in the battle. And you see them quite prominently throughout the battle. You don't really see that many older Autobots. I mean, Ironhide, Prowl, Ratchet, and Brawn are often in the shuttle, so they're not there. That's fair enough. You see the corpses, mind. This is a film for kids. Corpses of Wheeljack and Windcharger are being dragged in by RC, one of the newer ones. And apparently Huffer was killed off screen. You don't see him actually get killed. You don't actually see him either. He's alive 1 minute and he's dead the next. His name's in a mausoleum in season 3, showing that he was indeed killed. But you don't really get a lot of original Autobot action, because obviously Optimus Prime enters the fray, takes down Megatron, and is killed off himself as well. That's him gone as well. So now you have all these newer ones. Like I said earlier, you have Hot Rod and Springer, RC, Ultra Magnus, Cup. You do have the Dinobots throughout most of the movie, as you might have guessed from my past two podcasts. I do like me a bit of Dinobot. They're a great addition to the TV show. I think it made it a lot more popular with kids because toy cars and planes are fun. Toy dinosaurs, we need some of them. From my middle kid would probably agree, more dinosaurs the better. But yeah, a lot of you got to see a lot of older Decepticons, even through into season 3. A lot of older Autobots so just never reappeared again. Not even old ones. I mean, now you never saw Smokescreen again, Tracks, Red Alert, Inferno. You know, there's a theory that Red Alert was killed, so maybe that's why. But there was no answers to anything else. You do see a few like season 1 Autobots throughout the film. Then in the next season, Jazz, who he doesn't really have a speaking part in anything you see, and neither does Cliffjumper, because Casey Kasem didn't want to come back for season 3. So it's fair enough. If you know, you know. And the Dinobots were always there, thankfully. Once again, that Dinobot fan. Didn't really have anyone else. I mean, you eventually had Bumblebee, who eventually became Goldbug. But yeah, those were basically my 3 points of contention. Where did the Matrix come from? Where were certain Autobot and Decepticon groups during the battle? And where were like half the originals? Now, once again, they might have just all been killed off. Who knows? A couple of bots that we did see through the battle and stayed in most of, well, at least some of the movie, were Blaster, who now has 4 cassettes, good for him, and Perceptor, who was throughout the whole movie. And I was sitting going, really? A lot of people, Perceptor? But you know what? I liked it, Worst parts of the movie for me. Not to do with any of the content, the other stuff I just mentioned. Worst parts. Obviously, we have the changing of Megatron, Skywarp, Thundercracker, and the Insecticons into Galvatron, Cyclone, Scourge, and the Sweeps. That for me felt like a cheat. They're new characters, but technically they're old characters. So technically speaking, Decepticon casualties mounted to Starscream. And even he comes back as a ghost in season 3. It's like that's a bit of a cheat. It annoys me, because other ones didn't die. Soundwave and all his cassettes, they didn't die near the Coneheads, Astro Train, Blitzwing. They don't see much of Blitzwing in season 3, but still, Whereas slew of Autobots were killed off, and other ones you just don't see again. So that annoyed me. It was like a bit of a cheat to like bring in these. Oh, look, these new characters. No, he's still Megatron. That one's Skywarp. That one's Bombshell. It's just their old personalities, apart from Galvatron's, seems to have been completely replaced with these new personalities. But they're still the hardware, like deep inside, they're the same bots that they were. Bit of a cheat after seeing so many of them getting like battered and bruised during the battle. Kind of cheapens it a little bit. Second worst part for me, personally, was the Unicron battle. You had Autobots and Decepticons uniting against Unicron, but you didn't get to see a lot of it. You got to see Unicron's initial onslaught for like a minute. Then you got to see him fighting. Well, at this point, you couldn't see who he was fighting. It was just like lots of blaster effects coming at him left, right, and center, and he was like waving his hands, trying to kill them, And you got to see the Dinobots in action against them, who were completely ineffectual. And then next thing you see is he grabs the Junkion ship, crushes it, and throws it away. And after that, Rodimus unleashes the power of the Matrix, and he's destroyed. And it's like you could have done so much more with Unicron. You could have made him bigger, even bigger if you'd wanted. Point worst moment in the whole thing for me. I think anyone who watched the movie can guess where I'm going with this one. Is the death of Optimus Prime. Not so much just the fact that he died, but once again they cheapen it by like bringing him back twice in season 3. First time the Quintessons bring him back to lead the Autobots into an ambush, and they end up losing like half their forces because Quintessons just hate the Autobots for some strange reason. And the Return of Optimus Prime Parts 1 and 2. That says it all. The hate plague, and they had to bring him back again. This kind of cheapens the whole sacrifice. Apparently, people weren't liking Rodimus Prime at all. They didn't like the fact that, ironically, that they killed off most of the main original characters in the movie. So that was kind of like a gamble by Hasbro. It didn't bring enough people back, so that's why season 4 was 3 episodes, and that was the end of it for the American one anyway. But yeah, that was the worst part of the movie for me. His death, and the fact that it was basically cheapened later on in the third season. Best parts of the movie for me. Number 3 going up to number 1. Number 3 is the introduction of both the Quintessons and the Junkions. Because let's face it, I've griped many things about this. Too much human crap. Too much. So, with the introduction of the Junkions and the Quintessons, we had other unique, great stories in season 3, all to do with the Junkions or the Quintessons or back in the Cybertron's ancient past. Once again to do with the Quintessons, and it was great. I loved it. It was fantastic. We got these new species. It opened up a whole other galaxy of stories and possibilities for the Transformer season 3, and they went with it. They used it. They didn't just suddenly forget. They introduced these new species in the movie, so I was quite happy with that. Second favorite moment, kind of coming off of what I just said there, lack of humans. We have Daniel, Spike and Carly's son. He's just kind of hitching a ride with the Autobots from Earth to Cybertron and whatever the hell they go in between. Spike is on Moonbase 1, which subsequently gets eaten by Unicron, and then we see him getting rescued by his son at the end of the film. Bar that, there is no human interaction, and I loved every minute of it. It was about introducing these new characters, these new toys for the kids. Hasbro knew it was like, right, we're not selling toys of humans. We're selling toys of Transformers. So we'll leave as many out as we possibly can. You don't even see Carly. You don't even know what happened to Sparkplug or Chip. No one cares. No one gave a toss. We were just watching our favourite characters from years before die horribly. And it was great. No, not at the time, but you get the gist. As you grow older, you appreciate slight things more on it. It was just so good to see a lack of humans. Because that's what all these newer films have. Too many human characters, too much focus on humans. And as I've already said many, many, many times, Michael Bay's movies sucked. They just sucked so hard. The 86 movie is, for me, like the one, the only, the best. Sod your rest. Okay, number 1, favourite moment for me was when Starscream finally got what he deserved. And it's the fact that he didn't die at the hands of an Autobot. It's the fact that it was a reincarnated Megatron as Galvatron that finally took him out. Because he had so many chances to do it through season 1 and 2. But then that would have taken away that element of, is today going to be the day he tries again? It kind of kept the fans going. But at this point, the entire hierarchy had changed. A lot of people knew that. There was a lot of death, there was a lot of destruction. And Starscream had finally made himself leader. He's even got the crown and everything. Basically, Galvatron rocks up on board Cyclonus. Who disrupts my coronation? Coronation Starscream. This is bad comedy. And you see it in his optics. You see him Starscream go, oh shit. Megatron? Is that you? Here's a hint. He transforms into his cannon mode and he blows the fucker away. We've been waiting 2 seasons for that. It was one of the best parts of the whole movie for a lot of people for that reason. Once again, kind of cheapened by the fact that the episode Starscream's ghost brings him back as a ghost causing chaos. And then in the next one, Ghost in the Machine, he makes a deal with Unicron to get his old body back. And he does. And eventually goes flying off into space, and we don't know, was he destroyed again? No one knows. So it kind of cheapened it, because he was literally the only Decepticon death in the whole movie. That was it. No one else died. I mean, you could assume that Reflector and Shockwave at the very least were destroyed, because you don't see them again, but you don't see it. And it shows you the Coneheads being destroyed, but then in the 5 Faces of Darkness, they're back. Like nothing ever happened. So it's like, okay, so he's the only confirmed Decepticon death in the whole film. Cheapened a bit by the fact he's, back in season 3 twice. As a ghost for most of it, to be fair. Yeah, that was my favourite part. That snivelling, conniving weasel of a bastard finally got what was coming to him. And because it was Galvatron slash in brackets Megatron, that actually did it after all that time. I mean, even in the comics, we don't even see Starscream really getting destroyed, not permanently, you know. And most of the time, it isn't even Megatron that does it. And when it is Megatron that does it, or at least beats him to within an inch of his life, apparently that's enough of a punishment. And he's back in the ranks. And this next thing, he created Bruticus to try to take over in season 2. And Megatron ends up saying, "You're welcome back in. Just give me the big guy, and we'll call it even." I'd have still shot him after he gave me Bruticus. I'm like, "Thanks, you upheld your end of the bargain. You're a scheming two-faced swine. I'm going to shoot you anyway." But they couldn't do that. Kids cartoon. So that's why it was it was a Hail Mary. That made it my top in the best moments of the entire Transformer movie for me. um, but yeah. So anyway, next podcast we're going to be doing my top episodes and my worst episodes of season 3. And you know what? I'm going to say something that's a bit controversial. I liked season 3, even giving all the glaringly bad artwork. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I did. A lot of the stories were not as Earth centric, so there wasn't as many humans. You see where I'm going again. I was very happy about that. But anyway, until next time, stay safe, roll out, and I will see you next time.